is Doop, and why is this floating green mystery climbing the charts? What is the buzz about this ecstatic favorite? Leaked concept art from Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars have the internet fired up, and with God Emperor Doom stealing the spotlight, and it's no surprise he's dominating the market. And Keanu Reeves is back in the headlines. His BRZRKR comic has officially found a director, and fans are pumped for what's next. All this and more in this week's Trending Comics list. This week's top trending comic books for the second week of March 2025. We got some surprises, we got some great returns, and we got some doom. All right, what's your thoughts looking at the four images already?
I'm curious about the first one because I love Berserker. I thought it was a really cool story. We knew that this Doom cover was going to be there, and then Jeff has to make an appearance
every so often, right? Jeff has to just keeps coming out,
and then X-Force we'll get into.
Yeah, we'll definitely get into that one. Let's get things started, and we are going to start up with number 10 in our list, and that is Fantastic Four 28, the Peach Momoko Marvel Rivals variant. This book came out in 2025 from Marvel Comics. Its last recorded sale was $8 near mint. Fair market value of this book is $8. There are 9.8s going for $64. This showed up at the trending list for cover price at number 10. The sales volume of this book is at 102%. The hype level is low. This book just creeped its way right back into the list.
Yeah, and I think there's just a little bit more attention with the new Rivals book coming out, as well as It's Jeff. They're collecting another volume of it that is in previews right now, so that could be why.
Yeah, at its height, this book was $20, $25, $30.
Yeah.
Now it's going for $8. So it's definitely dipped, but look at that sales volume. 102% is what really brought this back into this list. I love seeing Jeff. So yeah. I'm happy to see Jeff back.
And we're going to see lots more of them in the coming weeks as well.
Yep. Okay. Is that a prediction or a spoiler?
A little bit of both, probably.
Yeah. At number 9, BRZRKR, number 1. This book came out in 2021 from Boom Studio. The last recorded sale of this book was $70, but look at the fair market value, $4, $70 at 9.8. Trending list, this was number 1 on cover price only. So it didn't make it to Key Collector and didn't make it to CBSI because the information, the news came out over the weekend after Key Collector and CBSI. So it'll probably be on their list next week. The sales volume of this book is at 47%. The hype level is medium. All right. Tell me a little bit about your love for BRZRKR.
Well, I just picked it up because it was an independent, and I thought, well, I'll give it a chance. I knew Keanu was having a hand in writing it. I flipped through it, and I'm like, oh, this could be good because the character looks just like him. And I thought it was a really cool take on that whole kind of immortal type of thing. And just, someone that's beaten down so far, they don't know anything but violence pretty much.
Yeah. The BRZRKR comic is the comic book that I personally did not get into. Even though I love the art of Ron Gardner, I think he's one of the best. He's such an underrated artist out there, but he's so good. His run on Spider-Man, I love. However, what brings this book into this list, and I guarantee you'll be on Key Collector and CBSI next week, is they announced a director attached to a movie project for BRZRKR. So this is something that's been in the works for a very long time, and finally, it's coming to fruition.
That'll be cool. And the one shots they always did, there's just this story. There's so many to tell because they just kind of follow him through time. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's really neat. I'm looking forward to seeing that.
Yeah. Now this book was it had a high print run, so the cost of this book is probably not going to go too high. However, you might want to be on the lookout for some of the variants. There's some variants that are really pricey, so check out those variants if you're interested in getting, Berserker books at high quality or high, market value. Those are the ones you really want to look after. This one is just a standard one, and it was printed highly. Okay. Going into number 8, Impact Winter #1. This came out in 2022 for Image Comics. Last recorded sale was $20. Fair market value of this book is at $29 near mint. There are no recorded sales for slabs, therefore we don't have any. The trending list is number 8 in Key Collector, number 7 in CBSI, and number 2 in Cover Price. Sales volumes at 32%. The hype level is at a medium. So, Shane, we talked about this book several weeks ago, maybe a couple of months ago. It's a vampire story, and the sun doesn't come up. It's kind of like almost like a 30 Days a Night type
Yeah.
of story. But what's bringing this book back into this list after a long hiatus, to be honest with you, has everything to do with the fact that now it's been optioned, and there's words about being optioned. It does have an audio book, so if you ever wanted to listen to Impact Winter, it does exist, and you could actually listen to the story of Impact Winter.
Yeah, this one still don't know a whole lot about it. I haven't seen it since we last talked about it. And it's one of those ones, take it with a grain of salt. We all know that just because they've done some kind of deal doesn't mean anything's going to happen yet.
Yeah. What's really good to know about this book is that this is the only one. There's no variants, there's no other copies. This is also a one shot. So you one and done, because the idea about it was supposed to be an audio book. So now that they have an option news for this, I could see this actually happening. This one I could see happening because it already has an audio book, so it has some following. People have listened to the audio, so why not? Yep. All right, moving on to number 7. X-Force 116. This book came out way back in 2001 from Marvel Comics. Last recorded sale of this book was $22. Fair market value is also $22. 9.8 is going for about $135. This came out at number 3 in Key Collector, number 3 in CBSI. It didn't make Cover Price top 10. It made its top 20. The sales volume of this book is at 45%. The hype level is at a medium. Before we even talk about the hype behind the book, let's talk a little bit about this book in general. I personally love X-Force, which eventually become X-Statix. Talk to me about how you feel about this book.
So when all this started up, I checked, and X-Force is one of those volumes, and it's this one in particular that I don't have. I believe I have the X-Statix ones. I remember seeing that in my collection, but these I don't believe I have any of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so with this book, X-Force, Marvel decided to take things to different routes. This is around the same time period that they started doing the new X-Men, things like that. And with X-Force, this is not the X-Force from this is not the same X-Force like Cable's X-Force or the X-Force that has Wolverine and Deadpool. This is a very, very different X-Force. In fact, I don't even know where they fit in the Marvel universe. It almost feels like it's an Elseworld story, the way it is. But this is it was ahead of its time. It's very much like The Boys in a way, in a weird way. It's also like Survivor, because it's set in this reality-based world. So this team of X-Force members, they're reality TV stars. That's how they're designed to be. And another thing about them, it's also kind of like a Squid Game thing too.
Yeah.
They die. Like, everybody you see in this cover, with the exception of a few, die. And the way Peter Milligan and Mike Aldrich did it is that you never know who's going to go out. And it's absolutely right. As you read the book, people die. And you're like, wait a minute. Isn't that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I can tell you firsthand, looking at that cover, all of the people that died. I won't say it because I want people to go back to it because it's a really fun story. Now let's go talk of reason why it's here, because it's not about that story.
No.
That's not why this book is here.
Yeah.
Can you tell me why it's here?
Yes, I know exactly why. This is a first appearance of a character, and in a leaked picture that may or may not be AI generated or fake. In half of the picture, off on one side, there is this character, Doop.
Doop, yes.
And
Doop.
that has caused all of this Doop talk, and this is his first appearance in this book.
Yeah, so Doop he looks like Slimer from the Ghostbusters. The only real difference is on there's an X. It's an X-Men logo on his stomach. No one really knows what Doop is. Like they think he's an alien, but what he really is, that's why this book is so outrageous. What Doop really is, he's a cameraman for this X team. So he goes off into stories, he goes off into the whatever the mission is, and he's recording it with a camera. So you see this Doop character. He doesn't speak either, by the way. Doesn't say a word. He just with a camera just recording it. You know what I mean? So I personally love Doop. I think he's hilarious. Go check out, there is a limited series of Wolverine and Doop. They do have a limited series, and it is so ridiculous.
Do you know who he would pair really well with, Izzy?
I know, Doop and Jeff.
Doop and Jeff. I mean, it's a match made in heaven.
I'm almost certain with this little hype, we're going to see Doop in Marvel Rivals somehow.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think he's fitting for it. He's one of those. He was always the star of X-Force, even though and by the way, he doesn't die.
It'd be interesting to see if this book stays with the hype level. If it turns out this image was just generated by some fan or something.
Yeah, so we'll never know until the movies come out. Right, because that's where this leak is from. This is from concept art. Well, concept with quotations. Concept art for the next Avengers movies. There is some validity behind it, but nothing has been made official. So all it is leaked footage that Marvel may have allowed to be leaked, or it's just somehow happened.
Yeah, and it's very Secret Wars 2015 looking as well.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So go check it out. Doop makes the list. I never thought I would have saw the day Doop makes this list.
No, and I have other X-Men books with him in it because I was familiar with the character, but I just didn't know that I didn't have his first appearance. So this will have to be a run I'll go back and get.
I have this. It's a fun run. Like they're dollar bin books at the most, So it's definitely a fun run. It's really good storytelling too. So go check it out if you haven't. Go check out X-Force 116. Our next book, Space Ghost Jonny Quest, Space Quest #1. This is the Ashcan edition. Came out in 2025 for Dynamite. $17 near mint. Last recorded sale. The fair market value is $28 near mint. No recorded slabs as of yet. It was on the cover price trending list at number 5. Sales volumes at 53%. The hype level is at medium, and it's Mark Spears being Mark. I thought I wasn't going to see Mark Spears this week, but he found his way into this list.
Yeah, and I think that's what the hype about. This book has been sitting in my comic shop for at least whenever it came out. I don't know when I've seen it. I think it was last week. It's still sitting there. Ashcans to me are, I have a few but I don't actively seek them out. If I like what it looks like, I'll pick it up.
Mhm. Yeah. Well, it is an ash can. It's supposed to be, exclusive ash can. So um people love Mark Spears. There's nothing else you can say about it.
Yeah.
Mhm. All right, move on to number 5. Amazing Spider-Man 129, 1973 from Marvel Comics. Last recorded sale was $1,600 at a very fine. That was a raw. The fair market value of this book is at $875 for a very good grade, while 8.0s goes for $1,857. On the trending list, it came in number 5 for CBSI. Sales volume is at 77%, which is very impressive for a book of this size magnitude. Hype level is a high because Punisher's on his way to Daredevil Born Again.
Yeah, I've only watched the first 10 minutes or so of the first episode, so I haven't seen everything yet, but I love John Berthal's portrayal of the character. And this is an obvious classic book. Like if you can, save up your pennies to get it, it's just going to keep trending up over time.
Yeah, it's a book that's never going to drop its value, I think. Punisher is always popular. It's Amazing Spider-Man as well. So you kind of have a double dose of that as well in this book. So yeah, I'm with you on it. If you could get the money for it, it's a good book to have in your collection.
Yeah, it's just one of those ones that if you are, an ASM fan and you're going to buy it eventually, it's one that you'd buy sooner rather than later. I bit the bullet. I bought it during the pandemic. I am not going to get my money back out of it, but I don't plan on ever selling it. So
there you go. So there you have it. Number 5, Amazing Spider-Man number 129, the first appearance of Punisher and the Jackal. All right, let's take a look at number 4. Peter Parker, The Spectacular Spider-Man number 9. This book came out in 1977 from Marvel Comics. $107 at 9.6 was the last recorded sale. The fair market value of this book is at $27 at a fine, while 9.6 goes for about $119. This was on the trending list number 6 for Key Collector, number 8 for CBSI, and number 9 for cover price. Sales volume of this book is at 48%. The hype level is at a medium. White Tiger is another character that we saw a glimpse of in Daredevil. Hasn't been fully revealed just yet, unless it's in episode 2, which I have not yet seen.
Yeah, so once this kind of goes past, and I did watch it far enough to see the little, it's like a security cam footage. It's almost like the end of, I think, Wonder Woman, where they showed all of the little security cameras of the other Justice League members. I can't remember. It was like a little teaser trailer thing. And it's kind of like that. You kind of see them, but you don't really know what's going on. If it goes beyond that and actually they're a character and they're interact with Daredevil and that, we're going to see this book again.
Yeah. White Tiger is such a cool character. Now, this is the first comic book appearance of White Tiger. He did appear in a magazine style, and it's a co-creation of George Perez, because White Tiger is a Puerto Rican superhero. In fact, it was the first Puerto Rican superhero in the Marvel Comics. So that's why George Perez had a hand in it, because George Perez was a Puerto Rican from the Bronx, just like the guy you're looking at right now. So I'm really excited. I have my copy of this book. I love it. I have a graded copy. Great book. Good book.
Nice. What is your grade of it?
That's a good question. I don't even remember.
I have this one as well. I have the whole run of this. So
yeah.
I was looking at this the other day.
Yeah, I cannot tell you right now because I completely forgot.
That's okay. It's allowed.
All right, let's go to number 3. Daredevil 131, 1976 from Marvel Comics. Its last recorded sale was $95. Very good. Fair market value of this book is at $126 fine, while 9.2s go for $524. On the trendy list, this is number 2 for Key Collector, number 4 for CBSI. Did not make it to cover price. The sales volume of this book is at 46%. The hype level is a high. This is here because of, again, for Daredevil Born Again. However, you did see that first 10 minutes of the first episode. And what are your thoughts? Sorry, guys. I'm not going to talk about the actual spoiler, but what are your thoughts on Bullseye?
I thought it was good. I have questions, but because I've only watched 10 minutes, I'll leave it at that.
Mhm.
I'm looking forward to seeing how they do it, because really all we've seen is the one portrayal in really the one in the Daredevil movie. So we'll see.
Yeah.
I'm
Oh,
very hopeful.
the costume was pretty accurate. It wasn't exactly because it is kind of silly having a bullseye in your forehead
Yeah.
the way it looks, but it's pretty accurate to what the comic book version looks like. I really like the character and how they did it. And it's the same character from the Daredevil Netflix series that came back, and so we'll probably see more of him later in the series. Really good stuff. Good
Yeah.
fight scene. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm. All right, let's take a look at number 2, and that is Secret Wars number 2. This came out in 2015 for Marvel Comics. $30 near mint. This is the last recorded sales. Fair market value of this book is at $22 near mint. 9.8 is going for about $101. This came in number 1 in Key Collector, number 2 in CBSI, and number 3 in Cover Price. The sales volume of this book's at 52%. The hype level is high. And just like we talked about Doop earlier, this book is here for the same reason as well. However, I do believe that this book's hype is more than the Dupe hype.
Yeah, like it's pretty crazy. This is and there's a ton of these ones out there as well. Um, I bought it off the shelf and didn't really think anything of it after I read it, really.
Yeah. This is the first appearance of God Emperor Doom. Keep your eyes posted for a version cover of this book that actually has Doom in the cover in the background. That book is creeping its way up into the sales charts, but not a lot of people know about its existence. So this one's the regular, the standard edition, the cover A edition of the book. But go check that one out. It's gonna. Almost certain we're gonna be seeing that book very soon in that list because it has Doom in the cover. So great book. This is a good story. I'm happy it's not that other one. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But go check out Secret Wars number 2. And for number 1, for the second week in a row, Red Hulk number 1, the PX exclusive variant. This book came out 2025 from Marvel Comics. Last recorded sales was $70. That's an increase from last week. Fair market value is at $73 near mint. 9.8s go for $173. This was on the trending list. Key Collector number 10, but CBSI and Cover Price. Well, CBSI put it at number 1. Cover Price put it at number 4. What put it into the number 1 status here is the sales volume of 161%, and the hype level is at a high.
It's got everything. It's a classic, awesome looking cover. It's got Doom on it, which is hot right now, and it's a limited run variant. So there's a lot going for this.
Absolutely. I think this is one of those covers that when you see it, you're like, wow, it's very creative. And they did Joshua Casaria did such a phenomenal job of making it work, because in some weird way it shouldn't.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And he somehow managed to make it work. It is such a good looking cover. It's such a great cover. I'm happy that's in the number 1 list again. Will it be in the number 1 list to next week? Who's to say? So good stuff there. Well, there you have it, guys. What do you think of the ranking system? What do you think about the books? Do you have any of these books? Let me know in the comments, and make sure you check in next week for the next list, because who knows if Doom returns. I'm sure Doom will return.
Yep, there'll
Right.
be at least one Doom book in the list.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more comic content. Check out these other videos for even more insight, and I'll see you at the next one. Excelsior.